Hey, is this on? Okay. Good morning. I'm Mike Endy. I'm the Vice President of Academics and Student Services at Weatherford College. And on behalf of Dr. Todd Allen Farmer, our President, Leila Morris, our Board of Trustees, all of our faculty, staff, and students, welcome. Thank you for being here. And to our honorees, congratulations. When this all began in March, we started looking down the road at things and what it was costing us, and so much it's cost us over the year, hasn't it? That we can come here today and do one of the most important events at Weatherford College, the Jack Harvey Exemplary Teachers Academy, is really important to us because it celebrates, in a very, very trying year, people who have done incredible work. So to you who are being honored, and to all of your colleagues back at the districts that you're coming from, and the administrators who supported them, and all of those people who made this work through this incredible year, thank you. You have done an incredible job. Now, at Weatherford College, we believe in creating a culture of caring to lead us to an environment of excellence in all that we do. And we begin that culture of caring with taking care of people. We start that by feeding them well. So if you have not gotten over here to get anything from our fantastic food service people, you're missing out. Trust me, I know something about what they do. They're good at it. So if you haven't had a chance, please go grab something while you're here. And thank them as we always do. They do incredible work. So thank you to Erin and her staff. If you need to while you're here, you know where the restroom facilities are. They're off to my right, your left, or whichever side of the table you're on, they're over there. We'll be here through the morning, and my next job is to introduce to you our keynote speaker. I want you to know that after I do that, I'm going to haul out of here, and it isn't because I don't want to hear what he's got to say. Some of you know that we're running the Coyote Math Contest at the same time we're doing this. So up on the campus, a bunch of your students are in our math contest, and I've got to go through a meet and greet with them, so I apologize for leaving you. But I'm going to leave you in great hands. And I get the pleasure of talking to you about Superman. Why wait for Superman when you have a cape in the closet? That's the first line of the bio of our guest and our keynote speaker. Mr. Hale exemplifies these words by his actions in and out of the classroom. Mr. Hale is an exemplary level 2 first grade and second grade teacher at David G. Burnett Elementary School in Dallas. He has a Bachelor of Science degree in Organizational Leadership from Wright State University in Fairborn, Ohio, and a Master of Education in Educational Administration from Texas A&M University Commerce here in Texas. Mr. Hale is a self-contained first grade and second grade teacher, laying a foundation for mastery of English, mathematics, science, and social studies, while simultaneously raising the social and emotional self-esteem of his students and their parents. Mr. Hale delivers a holistic approach to education, focusing on the impact of the lives not only of his school and community and Dallas Independent School District, but also of the state of Texas and America as a whole. For his achievements, Mr. Hale was named the 2021 Texas State Elementary Teacher of the Year and was chosen as the overall state representative for the 2021 National Teacher of the Year Awards. It is the first time in Texas history that an African-American male received both honors. In addition, Mr. Hale was named Master Teacher by the state of Texas and received the 2019-2020 Queen Smith Award for the top elementary school teacher in the nation in an urban school district. He's even been recognized on the Today Show, the Kelly Clarkson Show, Access Hollywood, and in the Washington Post and other national and local television shows and news publications. But Mr. Hale was born in poverty. He endured years of trauma and abuse at the hands of his parents. It was one caring teacher who lit a spark of hope inside him. And that spark of hope helped Mr. Hale to turn his pain into purpose. Mr. Hale uses his background and understanding of poverty and trauma to guide students to excel no matter what obstacles they face. Mr. Hale empowers his students educationally, emotionally, socially, so they can thrive at the highest levels of global society. He's an advocate for all children, but especially for those growing up in poverty and trauma. It is my honor to introduce the man whose Twitter account identifies him as 2021 Texas State Teacher of the Year, but also as father, husband, leader, advocate, believer, and chief of the IT tribe. Our man with the cape. Would you please help me welcome Mr. Eric Hale.
Well, thank you guys. You guys are too kind. First things first, if you are a teacher, can you please raise your hand? Can you please stand up? I want to applaud you guys for what you're doing. And thank you on behalf of your students and the school communities that you serve. You are teaching through a time that will be remembered in history. You are literally putting your life on the line while sometimes not being cared for or treated fairly, with very little care being given to you and your family. Sadly, that has been the history of education in America. But, as we all know, teaching is a beautiful struggle, and there's always more beauty than struggle. So I'm here not to talk about myself so much, but to have you look in the mirror at your practice, what you already have accomplished, what you are accomplishing presently, and what you will accomplish in the future. So from the bottom of my heart, I salute you, because it's not about the me, it is about the we, it is about the collective, it is about what we are doing for these children that we are serving. So I thank you. I represent the tribe of if. The child that we've all had that we know, man, they got talent. If they just had a little bit more help at home. If their parents weren't living in poverty. If they weren't getting abused. If their parents weren't addicts. If they had more support, they could do anything. Those children are the reason why I teach. Sadly, I don't have an amazing story with my public school education journey. I was filled up through the public school education system. I was raised by a mother who sadly had addiction issues during the crack cocaine era. My stepfather was a retired military vet who had schizophrenia. So it was a horrible cycle of when he took his meds, he would sleep for days on end. And he wouldn't help around the house, so my mom would be on him. So then, guess what? He wouldn't take his meds. And if you've ever watched The Shining with Jack Nicklaus, that's how it was in my household. Growing up in an impoverished neighborhood that's dealing with generational poverty and generational trauma, and being the child that everybody knew lived with the town crazy. The shame of that, I wore like a hat to school. What was worst was I had teachers who saw the pain and saw my problems, but never saw my potential or my power. Until one teacher. I grew up in a neighborhood that was highly tied to gang activity. It was majority brown, African American, Hispanic, and poor Caucasian people, all mixed together in a pot. And it wasn't until 7th grade that I met Mr. Gumpert. He recognized my potential, but most importantly, he recognized the power I had in my voice. He pulled me aside one day and he said, you know what? You're either going to be a champion, changing the world, or you are going to be the smartest guy in federal prison. You make the call. He said, God has put a calling on your life. He said, have you ever stopped and thought that, why is it that when you speak, everybody listens? He said, that's a gift, son. So you need to change the way you speak, because your voice and what you say has power. You are a natural leader, or you're a natural influencer. Do you know about Marcus Garvey? Do you know about your rich history that you come from as an African American male? The people before you. And he gave me literature about people that look like me. This is a man that didn't have to do that. This is a man who was a Caucasian gentleman who did not have to care, because none of my teachers before cared. He had me write book reports. He checked on me. He loved me. He inspired me to be the man that I am to this day. We fell out of contact. But what's interesting is what teachers do, what many of you guys have did, you keep tabs on your students. When I graduated from high school, as I'm walking across the stage, the loudest, excuse me, it's hard for me to talk with this mask on while I'm fighting tears. The person who was even louder than my parents was Mr. Gumpert. Some kind of way, he was at my high school graduation. I left Phoenix, Arizona to go to Ohio. I had never seen snow before. I had never been on a plane. I had a chance by night opportunity to go to a real college. I took my chance. I went out there with a jean jacket and hope. Hope that was given to me by a man that didn't look like me. But see, I was able to understand him because everybody can understand the language of love, regardless of race, gender, economic background. So continue to give the love that you are giving right now to your students, because even if they're not able to tell you, they feel it, and you are changing their lives daily. When I graduated from Wright State University, it was the crowning achievement at that time of my life. I'm by far the most educated person in my family, which ain't saying much, but I am the most educated person in my family from a statistical or a paper form. I flew back to Phoenix, Arizona, and looked up Mr. Gumpert, and he had retired, and I couldn't find him. And a month later, I received a postcard. And on that postcard, it was a picture of me with my cap and gown walking across the stage. and Mr. Gumpert signed it, you have so much more to accomplish. And I've never heard from him again. This is a man that made an impact in my life in 7th grade, when I graduated from high school, and when I graduated from college. That's the type of impact you should strive to make with the children that you serve. I am no longer a teacher. I am an educator. And I challenge all of you to become an educator. You see, a teacher is just worried about scores. The science of getting kids to understand what you're giving them so they can give it back out when it's testing time to get certain scores. An educator teaches from the heart to the mind. I'm a firm believer that there can be no expectation without relation. An educator teaches 360 degrees of learning. The social, emotional, and educational aspects. An educator focuses on impact. I have stopped focusing on just teaching. Now I'm thinking of, does me being at the school that I serve, am I changing the crime rate? That's the type of change and the type of power that you have as a teacher. Closing gaps. Leaving the box to make impact on your school community. Use your teacher voice, whatever some kind of special that you have inside of you, to inspire not only the kids that you serve, but your entire school community. You do not have to be like everybody else. That is one of the worst things that we have did in public school education in America. This one-size-fits-all concept. You were all gifted with talents made to inspire other people. If you're an artist, let that seep into your classroom. Let your best self affect change in your teaching practice. Your kids will follow you. Your kids will go through a brick wall for you. Because one thing dealing with kids who maybe are going through traumatic experiences, the intelligence level that is extremely high is that they are able to read people. They understand authenticity because they have to. Because they are living in survival mode. And when you are living in survival mode, you're able to pick up little nuances that other people aren't. So be real with your students, and they will follow you. If I told my students that I used to be a ballerina, my little kids and my little boys would run up to me and they'd say, "Oh my God, how cool. I want to be a ballerina now." They would want to be whatever positive I told them that I do. If you focus on serving the kids, you can't go wrong. It is a cycle of love. It will come back to you. Lastly, brand yourself. Find out what makes you unique and stick to it. It will help you in your process of making immense impact. My brand is the 3 A's. Number 1 is advocacy. I advocate for the children that I serve. I make sure that they don't go without anything. So when you're out in your communities, advocate. Teach your children how to advocate for themselves. And don't use the term grit. I hate that term. Grit implies long suffering. I prefer perseverance. See, perseverance implies taking actionable steps to get out of a negative situation, to live a good life, not be able to survive. I don't want my kids living in survival mode. I want them living in a mode where they can constantly thrive, that they can truly see the American dream. And it's possible for all of our children. The second A, accountability. Hold yourself accountable to do more. I know that you're already doing that, but when you are holding yourself to be accountable, you have to hold the parents accountable. I'm not scared of the parents. It is a shared vision of excellence for the kids. Nobody gets a chance to opt out. My parents sign a form that I create saying, this is my responsibilities as a teacher and what I'm willing to give to your child to make sure they're successful. Here are the things outlined that I need from you. And they sign it. So when their child says, my mom's not reading with me at night, she's not working with me on the stuff that I need to do to get better, I make a phone call. But it makes it not a tough conversation because they've already signed off on what we as a collective are going to do to make sure that their children are successful. Hold the business community accountable. Everybody says that they care about educators and they care about education until you ask them for some money. And that's just the truth. But you know what? Keep sending letters. Keep knocking on doors. Because eventually you'll fill up and you'll find somebody in an organization that truly has a heart for children, and they'll cut you a check. Hold your business community where you are and where you work accountable for this next generation of children. Because we're at a crossroads right now in Texas. From an economic standpoint, we're one of the best places to move and to be. From an educational standpoint, we rank at almost the bottom. So we're in this kind of weird situation right now. So the children that we serve are going to tip the balance because we need an educated workforce to keep up with the economic gains that we are getting in the state. It needs to be our children getting these new opportunities and these new jobs, not children flying from other countries and from other states. Lastly, action. No more talking about what needs to be done. Let's just do it. We make all of these excuses. Teachers are constantly in a situation where they feel like their hands are tied and they're just waiting. They're waiting for Superman. They're waiting for the state to give more funding. Stop waiting. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. In the last 2 years, I've raised over $100,000 for my campus. And a lot of that is from people who have just never been asked. So when they're asking you to go to these speaking engagements, challenge them. First time I went to a speaking engagement, I took my little money I had out my sock, and they call it a big ask. It was my first time doing a big ask. And it was a room like this, full of all of the young, up-and-coming Dallas elite in every industry. And I had already did the math. I said, hey, if everybody sitting here will match my $500, that would be over $25,000 for a needy school. So you're asking me what I would like you to do? Go back to your companies, advocate for me and my students, and let's change some lives. Sadly, like I said before, when they were challenged, I was only able to raise $8,500. But with that $8,500, I was able to provide the Girl Scouts a chance to go to NASA. I was able to provide every student on my campus, which is 700 students, 2 field trips. Because in my neighborhood, and the way it's set up right now, we have money to enter somewhere, but then we don't have money to pay for the buses. Or we got money for the buses, but my kids are so poor, I'm legally not even allowed to ask their parents to chip in. And so it came a point where I said, how can I be considered one of the best, and am I allowing this to happen? How can my kids dream if they've never been outside their 3-mile radius? Just us going on the bus was like 5 field trips. Going over a bridge, oh my God, oh, look, ah, ah, what is that? That's Dallas skyline. And they live in Dallas. They literally had never been like over an overpass outside their neighborhood. It's funny and tragic all at the same time. Even though I was only able to raise $8,500 that first speaking engagement, the riches of the connections with the business community was worth over $1 million. Because they decided that they were going to adopt my class. And so I had lawyers and doctors and congressmen that were invested in my children now. And so it kind of snowballed into an unofficial nonprofit. And so because of that one speaking engagement of me stepping outside my comfort zone, I've built all these relationships. Career day, anything. My kids can reach out and touch anybody. Now they know people that went to Harvard. Now they know people that are congressmen. The mayor, Colin Allred, Senator Nathan John, you name it. Across the aisles, Republicans, Democrats, it does not matter. These are people that are now in my community of care, that have bought into the shared vision of success for the future students who will be in the DFW area or across the state. Just from that one thing. That was 3 years ago. Last year, my school was hit by an F3 tornado. My school is one of the schools that was hit by the tornado. Luckily, our school wasn't completely decimated. We lost a chunk of the school and we were able to still work. But the middle school that my kids go to and the high school, it's flatlined, it's gone. We don't even know if it's ever gonna come back. The community where my school is at is still recovering from that. But this is how God works. The VP of PNC Bank was in that class that I spoke to. And there was a small little bit about my school. And you know what? She said, I remember those kids, and that was Mr. Hale. So they were gonna give $50,000 to the general fund. But because I advocated for my children and they advocated for themselves, she told her boss, no, we're gonna give this whole $50,000 to Burnett Elementary School. So they gave $50,000. This summer, when they closed down schools, I decided that my kids sacrificed for me, I'm gonna sacrifice for them. So I continued to work and teach my kids all summer long. I held my alma mater accountable, Texas A&M Commerce. Hey, my kids don't got technology, they don't got hotspots. I need y'all to fix that. They answered the call. So then I was able to get my parents to that. Reached out to Hufflin Mifflin, reached out to some of the reading companies and wrote a letter. Hey, I need some book sets for the parents who still can't get Wi-Fi, so they can still be learning. They answered the call. I reached out to some church organizations. Hey, I need some tutors. Some of those people are still tutoring my children right now. There is nothing you cannot accomplish if you reach out. Everything that you need to make impact, you already have in your heart and in your mind. And if you don't have it, the person sitting next to you does, or a friend of yours who's in education does. Stop waiting to be great. when school started back up, my kids had gently used technology, but Dallas ISD didn't have enough technology for the lower grades. And my school is one of the schools that was missing it. We backdoored and called PNC Bank and said, hey, can we use that money that was supposed to be to fix our tornado damaged roof? Can we use that for technology? Because these kids got to learn, and that's more important. They said, no, we would never let you do that. What do you need? Well, we have this huge gap of technology. They said, don't worry about it. We've adopted your school. Here's another check for $30,000. That's based off of something that my children did with me 3 years ago. So you might not see it this year. You might not see it next year. But that positive energy that you're putting out in the atmosphere, it will always come back to you. And now, because of that, my school is 1-to-1, and we're still learning and leading at a high level. So if you take anything from me, just know that you have everything you need to change lives. Thank you so much for your time. I love you guys. I'm with you in this fight. It's the beautiful struggle, but there's much more beauty than struggle. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Hale, the 2021 Texas Elementary Teacher of the Year. Let's give him one more round of applause. And don't go anywhere, because we have a basket of Weatherford College goodies for you. And more importantly, what you might be interested in is a Weatherford College check made out in the amount of $1,000. So please come on back up and let's get that. I'm Todd Allen Farmer, president of Weatherford College, and in just a moment we are going to honor each of our Jack Harvey Fellows. I have to tell you, I have the greatest job on earth, and I get to attend many wonderful functions, but there is absolutely nothing in the world that I enjoy any more than honoring teachers. You are the salt of the earth. Teaching is the one profession that creates all other professions. And we at Weatherford College are proud to honor the very best of our highly valued K-12 educational partners. So thank you for all that you do. The solid foundation that you build provides students with that solid educational foundation that leads to success not only in college, but in life. Weatherford College is adding new bachelor's degrees, adding new sports, improving our faculty and staff wages, building new academic buildings, all of which is designed to enhance teaching and learning. Thank you again for all that you do, and from the bottom of my heart, please know that you are truly appreciated. At this time, I would invite Vice President Brent Baker to come to the platform so that we can honor all of our Jack Harvey Fellows, and again, congratulations.
Thank you, President Farmer. Thank you, Mr. Hale. Wonderful speech. And we have 2 Texas Teachers of the Year in the room. I don't know if Karen has been recognized yet or not, but Karen Sams from the Weatherford ISD, last year's Texas Teacher of the Year. I'd like to introduce Leila Morris. She is the Secretary-Treasurer of the Weatherford College Board of Trustees, and she will assist President Farmer in the presenting of trophies to these wonderful exemplary teachers that are here today. Just a quick note, when I call your name, we'll be going in order, alphabetical order according to school district. And when I call your name, if you can make your way to this side of the room, and maybe even a little before I call your name, if you know you're coming, and come up this direction, and Mrs. Morris and President Farmer will present you with your trophy. And then after they do that, you can just continue on across the stage here and then around this direction back to the atrium where we're going to take your picture. And your photo will be sent to social media and will be also sent to the newspaper in your hometown. And then afterward, we are taking what I like to call the team shot, a group shot of all the exemplary teachers together as well. So let's get started. We have several teachers that are not able to be here today for obvious reasons, but we're still going to read their information because several of those teachers are watching online right now. And this will also be available on our YouTube page at Weatherford College later if you'd like to watch it, or if your family or your coworkers would like to watch it. So as someone who's married to a dedicated teacher, I appreciate you, and it's my pleasure to present to you the 2021 class of the Jack Harvey Academy of Exemplary Teachers. We will start with the Alito ISD. Katherine Williams is not able to be here today, but she teaches social studies grades 10 through 12 at Alito High School. Her nominator recognizes her as exemplary because she designs relevant, vigorous work that challenges her students to think at high levels. She provides leadership within her department and throughout the campus, making her impact far-reaching. She is continuously looking for ways to improve and grow, demonstrating a love of learning and growth mindset for her students. From the Alvord ISD, teaching writing in the 4th grade at Alvord Elementary, please welcome Kerry Morgan. Mrs. Morgan is exemplary because she touches her students' lives in more ways than just as an educator. Mrs. Morgan has blossomed in so many ways as a teacher and mentor to many others, stepping into the role of a writing teacher where many students think writing is boring. Mrs. Morgan brings fun and excitement into her classroom. From the Azle ISD, teaching special education and English language arts and reading at Azle High School, Randy Coffey. Her nominator views Ms. Coffey as exemplary because she genuinely cares about every student in her classes. She has strong content knowledge and provides strong leadership for the special education department. She serves as a department chairperson for special programs and helps lead professional development for other teachers in her department as well. From the Birdville ISD, teaching 1st grade at Hardeman Elementary School, Erin Hippert. Her nominator said Erin has a very sweet and kind demeanor. She has remained calm in some very trying situations. I'm sure you have trying situations in the 1st grade. Erin stepped up and did what needed to be done for all of the reading students in 4th grade. They have noticed in 1st grade, have noticed and loved that Erin is not afraid to ask for help when needed. She's coachable and she's collaborative. The Bowie ISD representative is not able to be here today, but we do want to recognize Holly Lawhorn from the Bowie ISD, and we will be reading her information here in just a few moments. Okay, from another person who is not able to be here from the Boyd ISD, but her superintendent is here, and she requested that she step up in her place and receive the award. So please welcome Dr. Tamara Vardy, who is representing Blake Smith. Mr. Smith teaches at Boyd High School, math, college, and career readiness. Mr. Smith's nominator is honored to recommend him for the award. He's a dedicated and distinguished educator who is committed to the success of all students, instrumental in preparing students to be post-secondary ready in the field of mathematics. Through distance learning, Zoom instruction, virtual tutorials, hybrid learning, asynchronous and synchronous instruction, one constant remains his commitment to his students. From the Bridgeport ISD, teaching math and English language arts in the 3rd grade at Bridgeport Intermediate, Candice Bentley. Mrs. Bentley's nominator says her passion for teaching is evident in the way she makes learning a fun and positive experience. She makes each and every student feel important. During the pandemic, she is shown to be especially dedicated to her students. She's caring, intuitive, dedicated, and focuses on her pursuits. She is truly a standout individual who was a blessing to Bridgeport Intermediate School and beyond. From the Brock ISD, teaching English and U.S. history at Brock Junior High School in the 8th grade, Tina Harper. Mrs. Harper's nominator sees her as exemplary because she has helped to develop curriculum to tie English and history together to create a unique experience for all 8th grade students. From the Bryson ISD, teaching science in grades 6 through 12, Laura Gregory. Her nominator says that Mrs. Laura Gregory is exemplary because of her consistency in presenting students with quality information and instruction in class. She facilitates quality remediation for struggling students, and her students consistently perform well on state accountability tests. She models the discipline and dedication needed to be a successful teacher and student. From the Burleson ISD, teaching 8th grade at STEAM Middle School, mathematics, Burleson's Ricky Bunch Pettigrew. Her nominator said Ricky leads the campus as their instructional specialist by facilitating the needs and development of high-risk students. Through pre- and post-assessments, learning stations, the utilization of Google Apps for education, and other innovative instructional methods, Ricky ensures that her students are challenged, tracked, reinforced, extended, and supported through their educational experience. From the Castleberry ISD, teaching music pre-K to 5th grade at Cato Elementary, Marshall Harrell. Mr. Harrell is recognized as an exemplary teacher because of his creativity, positivity, and love for all things education. He's a true asset, helping with every activity and celebration they have at the school. The students absolutely love to go to music. You can hear the songs, the laughter, and pure joy anytime you're near his classroom. He supports academics in his classroom and even sponsors UIL teams. Mr. Harrell brings a zest for life and education everywhere he goes. Our Chico ISD representative is not able to be here today, but I do want to talk about Katherine Day. She teaches at Chico High School, an exemplary teacher because she is always looking for new ways to help her students become successful. All the students of Chico ISD know that she will work extra hours with them to ensure they master the material and feel confident in it moving forward. Mrs. Day is the positive encourager in the hallways that students look forward to seeing. She celebrates every victory with her students. Okay. From the Elite Christian Academy in Granbury, teaching all subjects, grades 6 through 8, Ariel Platt. Ms. Platt strives to build a personal relationship with each student. She also teaches all subjects, grades 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. God bless you, at one time. She treats all students with respect, and she speaks to them as adults. She goes above and beyond to make these lessons come to life, and they are tangible for her students. From the Garner ISD, teaching PE and outdoor education, grades K through 8, Holly Pontrimoly. Mrs. P, as her Garner family calls her, is seen as exemplary because she's a true picture of Garner greatness. Her creativity and passion create memorable PE and outdoor experiences that bring learning to life. Whether it's teaching the littles to ride bikes or junior high students to cook gourmet meals over a campfire, her classes are always up to something awesome. From the Gordon ISD, teaching secondary science and yearbook classes, grades 8 through 12, Lilly Cormick. Mrs. Cormick is an outstanding example of a teacher who puts tremendous pride in forming meaningful and transformative relationships with her students, family, and her school community. Her students love learning science and life lessons and truly enjoy the school experience under her carefully crafted learning experiences. From Grayford ISD, math and science in the 2nd grade, Lisa Henderson. Ms. Henderson's nominator recommended her for this award because of her heart and love for being a teacher. She cares for students and comes to school each day with the purpose of making a difference. She attacks obstacles with a positive outlook and perseveres. She strives to be a better teacher by reflecting on her teaching and providing what her students need. From Granbury ISD, teaching math and science in the 4th grade at the STEAM Academy at Mambrino, Jairo Martinez. His nominator sees Mr. Martinez as an exemplary teacher because he creates an outstanding environment for teaching and learning. He's incredibly successful because he develops relationships with his students and staff. He supports and challenges his students by using multiple modalities, allowing his students' understanding to be solidified in their memory for future retrieval. Our Huckabee ISD teacher is not able to be here today, but I do understand that his principal, Mr. Corzine, might be here today. We do want to recognize Mr. Vinnie Heller. He teaches Ag Sciences, grades 8 through 12 at Huckabee. His passion for his profession is contagious. His nominator says he exemplifies the model teacher in all areas of the field with his depth of knowledge, personal drive for perfection, and absolute need to put students first in every decision he makes. From Jacksboro ISD, English and Reading in the 6th grade at Jacksboro Middle School, Jennifer Connor. Mrs. Connor's nominator says she exemplifies care and compassion. She is an encourager extraordinaire. I love that. And her students described her as someone who believes in them and pushes them to do their best. Jennifer works closely with her cohort, planning and developing activities to use in the classroom to support other disciplines. She's always finding ways to extend her content knowledge and searching for creative techniques to reach her students. From Joshua ISD, at the International Primary Curriculum in 8th grade science at Laughlin Middle School, Cameron Allred. Mrs. Allred is an exemplary teacher because of her creativity, passion for teaching and students, and ability to adapt to different learning needs. She shows creativity in managing lessons to connect with her students. She was instrumental in creating project-based learning for students to use during their intervention and extension time of the day. She is always looking for new and different ways to engage her students. From Lipan ISD, teaching math in the 4th and 5th grade, Vickie Posey. Ms. Posey's nominator says she is always researching and implementing instructional methods that will intrigue and inspire her students. She is proactive in gathering data, work samples, and evidence of participation to ensure that all students are successful in making progress. She also invests time to build relationships with her students and their families. She's soft-spoken, nurturing, never raises her voice or loses control. From Millsap ISD, teaching science and social studies in the 4th grade, Karen Buchanan. Her nominator recognizes Ms. Buchanan as exemplary because she goes above and beyond for her students every single day. She plans lessons that are cross-curricular and is always supporting other subjects. She serves on many committees because she truly cares about the success of her students in every aspect of their education. From Mineral Wells ISD, teaching elementary self-contained kindergarten at Lamar Elementary, Margie McGee. President Farmer, I understand that she attended Weatherford College. Is that correct? You're a coyote. We love that. She is a humble and behind-the-scenes teacher that takes the utmost pride in her profession. One of her peers said she is one of the most reliable teachers I have ever met. She's always there, on time, 100% committed to teaching. She's positive and smiling and looks for the best in her students and never has a negative word to say about students, staff, or campus, the district, or the community, exhibiting professionalism and integrity. From Munster ISD, elementary self-contained, first grade at Munster Elementary, Jill Ryder. Mrs. Ryder's nominator said she's always looking for ways to improve her classroom to help her students. She's incredibly knowledgeable of her subject matter, passionate about teaching and working with students. She's been a teacher at Munster Elementary since 1996. She's constantly looking for new and innovative ways to reach her students and to make learning fun and exciting. From Palo Pinto ISD, elementary self-contained, fourth grade, Glenda Valencia. Mrs. Valencia is an exemplary teacher because of her unmatched dedication to helping her students succeed. She has high expectations for each and every one of her students. Also provides them with the tools needed to reach their goals. She'll exhaust all avenues to ensure that every child is successful. Her willingness and eager to work with others is leaving a lasting impact. Our Paradise ISD teacher is not able to be here today. I believe her principal, Melissa Coda, might be here today, but we do want to mention Ashley Markham. She teaches kindergarten at Paradise Elementary. Mrs. Markham demonstrates a dedication to her students beyond the four walls of her classroom. She has worked to reach all of her students, both in class as well as those learning from home. Mrs. Markham is committed to providing instruction that meets each student's individual needs and meets their social and emotional needs in the classroom and beyond. From Peaster ISD, science, fourth grade at Peaster Elementary, Irwin. Ms. Irwin shares her joy of teaching by providing students with hands-on science lessons and labs with differentiated instruction. She sets high expectations where students spend more time on tasks, allowing for increased academic success. Mrs. Irwin makes a difference not only in her classroom, but across the campus with her positive attitude and generosity toward others. From Perrin Witt Consolidated ISD, Science and Reading and Theater for grades 7 through 12, Lauren Draper. Ms. Draper is recognized as exemplary because she holds a true passion for student success. She's highly motivated in all aspects of her job, holds every student to a high level of accountability. She has a diverse level of responsibility, which includes junior high science and reading, as well as junior high and high school theater classes, and coaches the high school cheer squad as well. Apparently, she does not sleep. Congratulations to Ms. Draper. From Poolville ISD, teaching agricultural education, grades 9 through 12 at Poolville High, Hope Sorrells. Hope has a dedication that extends beyond her classroom walls. Supporter of the district's extracurricular activities. She puts in long, countless hours preparing for their contests and livestock shows. When anyone asks about her, they immediately respond that she loves her students unconditionally. To find a fabulous teacher is a gift, but to find one that has the heart for kids is an additional bonus. From Santo ISD, teaching language arts in 4th grade, Shanna Andreetta. Her nominator says that Shanna models the exemplary teacher. She's described as patient, kind, and caring. She's an expert at helping struggling students improve their reading and writing skills, and is that person on a school campus who can manage special challenges with ease. Shanna is the kind of teacher that every parent hopes their child be fortunate enough to have in their school years. From Springtown ISD, teaching mathematics in the 6th grade at Springtown Intermediate School, Chelsea Strickland. Mrs. Strickland is described as a phenomenal teacher and is exemplary because she is a strong advocate for her students, has a sincere desire to see them succeed. She's kind, warm, and welcomes students into her classroom with open arms. She is patient and has a true gift when working with struggling learners. From Stephenville ISD, English, Language, Arts, and Reading in the 7th grade at Henderson Junior High, Jenna Verla. Mrs. Verla brings an infectious enthusiasm to all that she does. She's always looking for ways to improve her craft and increase engagement. She embraces the quirkiness of junior high and creates an authentic and inviting classroom while capitalizing on building relationships to motivate for mastery. She's also a member of the campus cultural club and works to spread joy to her colleagues as well as her students. From Trinity Christian Academy, teaching 1st grade, Kimberly Deneef. She is described as a shining light in the life of her students, parents, and colleagues. Regardless of the educational needs of her students, she always finds the time to work with them and assist them in their learning. Incorporating fun games and activities in the curriculum, she's able to make learning fun, instilling a love of learning and school that stays with the students long after they have left her class. From Weatherford ISD, teaching mathematics in the 6th grade at Hall Middle School, Charlotte Irwin. The proudest moment of her teaching career doesn't come in the form of a number grade, a star score, or a high SAT score. Charlotte's proudest moment happens on a pretty regular basis. It's that moment when one of her students realizes they are capable. That moment when they become confident in themselves, when they're not afraid to take a risk, and they're okay with being wrong because they know that we all learn from our mistakes. Those moments make her proud, not of only the work that she does, but the work of her campus team as well. From Weatherford College, Professor of English, Dr. Diane Ainsworth. Dr. Ainsworth models the exemplary teacher and is a valued member of the humanities department. She's known for her dedication to student success, whether in the form of integrating innovative teaching practices or through providing intensive student feedback. Her commitment to teaching is to be admired. She's also the co-sponsor of the Creative Writing Club and is an active member of the Weatherford College Learning Community, which meets to discuss important trends and issues in pedagogy and consists of faculty, staff, and students. And I want to go back and talk about Blake Smith from the Boyd ISD. He is not here today, but he might be watching online. I want to recognize him from Boyd High School, teaches math, college, and career readiness. His nominator is honored to recommend him a dedicated and distinguished educator who is committed to the success of all students. He is instrumental in preparing students to post-secondary ready in the field of math. Through distance learning, Zoom, and other methods, he is a one constant teacher that they love in the Boyd ISD. One more time, please welcome and congratulate the 2021 class of the Jack Harvey Academy. As I said, it is a real pleasure for us at Weatherford College to honor these important teachers. We do want to recognize a couple of people very quickly. The funding for today's event is provided by not only Weatherford College, but by private gifts from Dr. Jim Tatum, who is a retired professor emeritus at Dartmouth University and who is a Weatherford College alumnus and who happens to be the nephew of Jack Harvey, the master teacher of Weatherford College. And then I want to recognize two groups. First of all, the 1996 Charter Task Force. This is the task force that created this event to begin with 25 years ago. And we have one member of that team here, Mr. Doug Jefferson, who's standing in the back. Doug, thank you. And I want to thank the 2021 task force for all of their hard work. J.C. Trotter, Shelley Gibson, Kim Kelly, and Karina Flatten. Would you please welcome and thank these ladies as well? Okay, I believe it is now time for our group photo of all of the exemplary teachers that are here today. So what I'd like to ask you to do before you come back for lunch is to go outside. Crystal Worley is out there, and we're going to actually go out and to the left on the steps and take your photo, and then you can come back and enjoy lunch. Again, thank you for your service, and thank you for spending your time with us today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.